All right, YouTube, we're getting our Ukraine coverage started, but we got to start the video off by saying free my boy, Krail Azanath, who is awarded the Garbage Fuel Award of the Day for tuning in. I shit you not. And maybe he's trolling us all, and if he is, he's doing a great job. But he claims to be sitting in a Abu Dhabi jail and an airport. They have busted him for what they claim to be THC oil in a vape pen. It wasn't even cannabis. It's just regular tobacco vape. Bro, you are getting held up against your motherfucking will for tobacco vape for some motherfucking shit smells like car air freshener. He's literally watching the stream right now, sitting in Abu Dhabi jail. He's called the embassy. He's just waiting for them to clear this up. So give props to your boy, YouTube. Krail Azanath. Free Krail Azanath. Free Krail Azanath. That is really shitty, bro. Boy, I hope you learned your lesson. You're not allowed to have fun in Abu Dhabi. What, like they don't have vape pens in Abu Dhabi? Get fucking real. Holy shit. Thank you, Krail Azanath, for tuning in and coming back after my 30-day banishment. So thank you so much, Krail Azanath, for coming back. And good luck, man. I'm sure they're going to get you out of there really soon. Ready to go? All right, baby time. Oh, titty milk. Lucky. Gonna get some titty milk. Gonna get some titty milk. That was my boy. This is my son. Huh? How about that? My fucking son. How about that? Man, it's wild. I'm still not even remotely used to it. Not even close. Not even close. Gets out of jail. Gets in jail. What a day. So it is interesting. Interesting juxtaposition there, isn't it, Davey? Thank you, Lenny. Thank you so much. I know, right, Lenny? Yeah, same thing. Makes me like, Jesus, I don't want to travel anywhere. Can't have fun nowhere. You know, they started banning weed cafes in Amsterdam. It's like I totally missed that fucking boat. You know? Smoking weed back in the day when it was illegal, like going to Amsterdam was like really fucking cool. And now it's like, yeah, whatever, dude. Don't give a shit. I smoke weed on my front porch, no problem. I smoke weed in front of the cops. Anyway, all right, let's get to it. I thought we would open up with a map analysis from reporting from Ukraine. Let's see if he has an updated video, and he does. You know, you gotta love these. Denny, reporting from Ukraine. All these Ukraine journalists covering the story, they're on top of it. Fuck a grind. I mean, these guys are setting a standard, right? I saw Dennis there getting referenced on TVP World. He's coming up. He's a total man. And I hope he has a wildly successful travel log career once Ukraine has won the war. But let's get our map update. Let's figure out what the fuck's happening. Bakhmut. That's the big story. Is Bakhmut a lost cause? Should we? It's making me nervous. It's making me super nervous. I'm hearing arguments pro and against staying in Bakhmut, defending Bakhmut, and I think I'm like 51% staying in Bakhmut, defending that strategic decision. With that said, I don't want to see the Ukrainian military get embarrassed like this, and I would rather see a smart strategic retreat that reduces casualties and loss of equipment over them like another Mariupol, right? I thought the Mariupol thing was pretty bad. I thought it looked really, really bad for Ukraine. Of course, that's me. I'm an armchair general. I'm not on the ground. I'm not fighting. It's not even my country. What am I doing here? I got to get my... There we go. It's not even my country. With that said, I don't give a shit what country you're from. If you are a democracy and you're a legitimate democracy, and you respect human rights, that's all I care about. I don't give a shit about anything else. Interesting map. It shows all the geolocated location positions and pictures of videos from both sides in Bakhmut. Safe for work, safe to show. Let's go ahead and give the proper map analysis, then we'll jump into your link, okay? Davey, or how safe for work are those pictures? You know what I mean? I love this Aqualine by Sin. Lovely song. Make sure you like and subscribe to the underground artists that I love so much. It's a map only. Okay, we'll take a look. You know, I leave the map analysis to the experts, you know, because I don't know an ATGM from a motherfucking, you know, goddamn, you know, rocket RPG from the bio gun from Unreal. I'd get those two mixed up, right?
78. The biggest news is coming from the east. Here, Russians started focusing on destroying everything that moved in and out of Bakhmut.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
They increased drone reconnaissance to spot movements, they concentrated artillery fire, and they moved in mortars closer to the contact line. Nonetheless, Ukrainian losses in vehicles suddenly dropped over the last 2 days, and Russian commanders started raising the alarm that Ukrainians are staying in because they prepared a massive counterattack.
Fuck, if they pull this off. Bro, if they pull this off!
Last time I told you that Ukrainians managed to impose beneficial for them urban fighting by partially withdrawing and creating a vacuum that Russians tried to fill in and capitalize on. I also told you that Ukrainians put a lot of effort into preserving the corridor for withdrawal by launching a series of limited counterattacks, but also by extensive airstrikes with assault helicopters. The freshest report suggests that these efforts are not enough because Russians have improved their fire control over the retreat roads. When Russians had just advanced into the area, they were still using only artillery to hit the roads in the fields. Later, Russians started to use drones to correct their fire to make sure that they accurately target these small roads. And Russians also brought mortars closer to the contact line.
Makes sense, makes
sense.
sense.
That is why 5 to 6 days ago, the number of vehicles hit during the process of withdrawal noticeably increased. Russian sources
So there is an active withdrawal from Ukraine.
Reported that Ukrainians responded by shifting to only using the roads at night in order to constrain the spotting of the convoys. Ukrainians are also using very small groups of 5 to 8 vehicles that they launch at random times. The such tactic not only decreases the
Look at those fucking roads. They're finally drying up, but look at that, man. Like you're hauling ass, and it'd be like, it's like being like fighting in a dream, you know, like in a fist fight in a dream, you know, like you just can't punch very hard. These guys are hauling ass, getting hit with artillery, and they're bogged down on this shit. Oh my god.
Probability of being spotted, but also requires the Russians to expend significantly more shells to be effective. Unfortunately, Russians manage to catch some vehicles every day, even in the most unconventional places such as forest areas. But over the last 2 days, based on Russian reports, Ukrainian losses of cars and armor have suddenly decreased by more than 50%. Military analysts are offering 3 plausible explanations. Firstly, as discussed in the previous report, Ukrainians have reinforced their flanks and assumed an active defense position.
And you know, frankly, if I was Russia, I would capitalize on what's happening here in Bakhmut with this announcement of reinforcements. I would capitalize that by, you know, maybe trying to hit Kyiv from the north again, you know, from Belarus. It'd be a great time to do that, wouldn't it?
In that they have started conducting limited counterattacks whenever possible, instead of just staying in their position waiting to defend against the next attack. These limited counterattacks have reportedly pushed Russians a little bit back, which reduced their possibilities of using drones, but even more importantly, mortars. Secondly, after Ukrainians started slowly withdrawing from the eastern bank of the river and southern parts of the city, Russians may have concentrated their efforts on developing their success here. Such actions required constant artillery support, which was granted at the expense of fire control over the roads leading out of Bakhmut. In fact, today geolocated footage confirmed that Russians gained 1 more street north of their positions and 1 street west of their positions. Lastly, after seeing a huge spike in vehicle losses, Ukrainians may have put some limitations on the use of roads for some time, while they are preparing to take greater measures for widening the corridor and reducing Russian fire control. In fact,
if they're gonna do it, now's the time to do it. They have no time. They have no fucking time. What is this legit over here?
After the head of the Wagner Group, Prigozhin, drew the attention of Russian military analysts to the offensive groups that Ukrainians are forming in the Donetsk region, many started to evaluate a Ukrainian counterattack in this region as a possibility. The main reason why Ukrainians suddenly obtained an opportunity for a counteroffensive here is simple. Wagner forces have stretched the front line to the verge of their ability to hold it,
yeah, and they're out
which
of
is the same
supplies.
thing that happened prior to the Ukrainian counteroffensive in the Kharkiv region. The fact of the matter is, over the last 2 months, the area of responsibility of Wagner forces increased from 30 kilometers to more than 60 kilometers, while their forces have shrank because the Russian Ministry of Defense forbade them to recruit prisoners. That is why Wagner's had to firstly put on hold their offensive towards Siversk and later even put on hold their offensive to the south of Bakhmut to be able to achieve anything to the north of Bakhmut. It is true that they have been successfully advancing in the region so far, but the fundamental reason for that lies in the topography of the region. After establishing control of the hills around Soledar, Russians were facing Ukrainian positions in the lowlands, but after taking control over the lowlands, Wagners once again have to fight uphill. And with the lower concentration of troops due to the stretched front line, the further they go, the harder it gets. And right now we're at the point where Wagner forces are...
Ukraine is such a unique battlefield. It's just one, you know, like Georgia or Crimea, the Kherson region, the Dnipro River. It's a fascinating place to wage a ground war like this.
Concentrated in the lowlands.
And some place just flat ass plains for miles as well. Like just tons of those as well.
Around Bakhmut, which opens a possibility for Ukrainians to attack and recapture the hills of Yakovlevka and Kurdyumivka and engulf Wagner forces that are trying to engulf
fucking
Bakhmut.
Nuts. No, that would be fucking nuts, dude. That would be fucking nuts. Yo, throw the dice out. Who would be falling off the balcony if that shit happens, huh? Who's going to be having a nice quiet moment at home and then the fucking KGB breaks down the door and whoop, oh, slipped off the balcony. Holy nuts. This is the end of the Wagner group if this happens.
If you're against the invasion of...
Yeah, buy his clothes. No, support him. I really like the Reporting from Ukraine channel. They do a great job. Make sure you like and subscribe. Check them out. Definitely add them to that daily view of Ukraine news, that daily update. Have worthy of the daily update. Add them to that list there. So here we are with our Nord Stream pipeline news. So let's go ahead and get this going. That bad actor right winger was asking about that. I don't know if he's still here. Are you still here, Mr. Right Winger? It would be awesome, but somehow I am doubtful. Yeah. Me too. But at the same time, you know, Wagner Group it might be a great time to wipe them out. Might be the time to do it. Wagner leader was talking the other day about what would happen in front of Wagner decided to retreat to the front if Wagner said, he said that the front line would fall to the Russian border. Yeah, of course he'd say something like that. I'm a right winger, but I'm not a bad actor, I think. Sorry if I come off as that. Yeah, no, you can't be both. You can't be both. Are you voting for right-wing politicians? You know, you don't get to walk around and say that you're a good actor if you're continuing to support right-wing politicians. No, I wasn't talking about you, Epic Gains. It was the other one, the guy with the yellow avatar. The fuck was his name? Maffin. I'm 15. I can't vote. You're 15, huh? Hey, man, do you like getting your dick wet? You might want to think about bucking this right-wing bullshit. Just telling you. When I was 15, that was my primary concern. So I'm a little shocked to hear what you're saying, man. I would love to see him trying to fuck Putin by retreating suddenly. That would be fucking crazy, man. But, you know, I don't think even he would go that far. All right, so let's get our update on Nord Stream here. Trapped in Bakhmut. Dumb Mask. Interesting name. Yeah, trapped in Bakhmut. Fidel Castro's balls! Woo! I fucking love Twitch. Thank you for the follow, Fidel Castro's balls. Do I have? I drank that one. Damn, I had a Fidel Castro banana soda that I already drank. Son of a bitch. Okay, let's go ahead and get our Nord Stream pipeline update. I have a few things to say about this.
It was the moment the war in Ukraine spread beyond its borders. Undersea sabotage on pipelines in the Baltic. The attacks on Nord Stream were blamed by the West at the time in September on Russia. Now Western intelligence is accusing a freelance group of Ukrainians with
Oh, I see you're asking a question, dumbass. I'll answer your question in a second.
links to the government in Kyiv. Its officials are denying involvement and still accusing Russia of being responsible.
They cut supply in Ukraine, so the next logical step would be to cut half of supply somewhere else. That is why, in my opinion, just the half of these pipelines were blown up.
The pipelines were built to carry gas from Russia to Europe via Germany. Leaks were reported on the Nord Stream 2 pipeline first, then a day later, more were discovered on Nord Stream 1. Now, more than 4 months later, German intelligence reportedly claims a wealthy Ukrainian hired a yacht, explosives and divers to launch the attacks. Germany's defence minister was drawing the dots to Kyiv while urging against jumping to conclusions.
I know the reports about this investigation. I read that with great interest. And we have to distinguish clearly, yes, whether it was a Ukrainian group, so it could have been on Ukrainian behalf, or a pro-Ukrainian one without the knowledge of the government. But I caution against jumping to conclusions.
The claims come after Germany's decided to send tanks to Ukraine, overcoming public reluctance. Analysts say Ukraine will need to tread carefully now.
If I was in Kyiv and trying to game this, the issue of, assuming the story is true, which it looks pretty credible what we're hearing today, okay, what is this now going to do to Germany? Will they start dragging their feet on supplying more tanks, more ammunition, and so forth? Germany is / or soon will be Ukraine's biggest European supplier of equipment. You don't really want to be annoying Germany with, let's call it, freelance activity.
There is an information war underway. The sources are all unnamed, but the story can only complicate relations between Ukraine and its allies as the war moves into another year. Dominic.
All right. Let's talk about this pipeline for a second here. Then I'll get to your questions, dumbass. Hold on.
Dumbass! You dumbass! You're a dumbass. Such a dumbass. You're an ass.
Busting out the classics. Let's see here. Pipeline. Yeah. First of all, there's no fucking way United States didn't at the very least have some knowledge of this. I personally, it's a bad thing. I'm not trying to defend the blowing up of this pipeline because fuck, man, just turn it off, right? Yeah, Epic Games, I heard the 90s show, not that bad. Not as bad as that 80s show. That was truly dreck. That didn't even last a season. But I heard good things about that 90s show. It doesn't look for me. It looks like it's for the WB. It doesn't look like it's for Nickelodeon. It doesn't look like it's for me. But hey, I could be wrong. People are saying good thing. Pipeline. It's a bad thing. Whoever did it, you fucked up. You fucked up image-wise. You did not fuck up strategically. Geopolitically, it is forcing Germany's hand. And Germany, up until very recently, was one of Russia's biggest partners in the Western alliance. Putin and Merkel were pretty close. And there is a contingency inside German government that would like to stop aid to Ukraine, and this kind of proof would do that. So kind of one of those worked out really well in the short term, might not work out really well in the long term. With that said, Germany will negotiate. Germany is willing to talk. So I don't know what will become of this. I don't think Cy Hirsch is fucking credible at all. I think he's incredibly biased, and quite frankly, this government source that he's been quoting for the last 20 years, I'm throwing shade. I'm throwing doubt on this shit, man. I've been following Cy Hirsch for a long ass time. You know, he's on Democracy Now! at least every other month. hearing him talk about Ukraine and Russia, he was just like Seymour Hersh. He was just like Seymour Hersh, who was just assuming the might of Russia, like, oh yeah, like Russia's gonna get its ass kicked by Ukraine, like pre-war, you know, like, oh, I'm not buying any of that U.S. propaganda that Ukraine's winning. No way, the Russian military is way too powerful. Zelensky's the asshole for even fighting back because he's just getting his people killed. That's how assured the victory is for Russia. No, Woke Patriot, I saw your link in there, man. Look, I saw the interview on Democracy Now! I linked it in the Discord. I recommend you watch it. No, because he's doing the same Ukraine-Russia two-step that all these other so-called lefties are doing. Oh, we got to stop helping Ukraine. That's the only moral thing to do. You know, U.S. imperialism blinders, right? Well, the U.S. wants this to happen, so we have to say no to it, even though, oh yeah, Russia might take Ukraine. Well, too bad, so sad. Not our problem. Okay, I get it. Journalists need to keep their sources anonymous. I'm not telling them to unmask his sources, but frankly, I need to see proof. You know what I mean? This doesn't substantiate what Sy Hersh was saying. This is actually saying these are pro-Ukrainian groups, not because what Sy Hersh was saying straight up was like that the U.S. did it when they were doing a training exercise. U.S. fucking Navy SEALs swum down there or something. He's saying straight up the United States did it. And this is apparently more credible and being taken seriously. Woke Patriot, you are the one that's generalizing here because I am basing my conclusion off what he said in that interview on Democracy Now! And I characterized it about a minute earlier, so hopefully you were listening. But yeah, Sy Hersh did the whole assuming the might of the Russian military, assuming it's foolish of Zelensky to fight back because it's getting his people killed. That's all I need to hear. That's a bad actor. That's somebody. Sy Hersh is not a stupid person. He fully understands the situation on the ground. So that's somebody with an agenda. It's credible enough for the German government. This guy I've never heard of. Defense analyst Francis Tuska says it's pretty credible. I'm just saying, dude, ain't nobody backing up Sy Hersh but the tankies on Twitter right now, Woke Patriot. It's you and the tankies on this one defending Sy Hersh. Okay? His comments on Democracy Now! Screamed of arrogant, pro-Russian mindset. I'm making a joke. That's the joke that I'm making, Woke Page. Get off your fucking high horse. That's the exact joke I'm making. But no, I don't believe Sy Hersh. I think Sy Hersh needs to back his shit up, and I think it's funny that people aren't backing Sy Hersh up. Like I said before, though, I think it's impossible that the United States didn't know about it. Right? And I do think it's the perfect scapegoat. If the United States did do it, it would be the perfect scapegoat to just say pro-Ukrainian forces, right? Because the truth is, of course it was pro-Ukrainian forces that did it. No, it was Russia, right? People saying it was Russia. You know, Russia who desperately needs war money, war dollars, and Germany who desperately needs cheap energy. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. No. So I think, you know, I'll give Sy Hersh this. I don't think it's totally unrealistic that the United States could have done that. Still, and yeah, I would still, you know, even though this guy here says that the sources are credible, I would like to see further evidence. And frankly, Sy Hersh has got to back his shit up a little bit more. This anonymous government source that he keeps referencing and talking about, I don't think he needs to unmask it, but he needs to have a couple more sources, bro. Have somebody back your shit up. Because after his comments on Democracy Now! Yeah, I'm throwing doubt into what he's saying. Because only bad actors make that argument. Only bad actors make the argument, oh, if you really wanted peace, you'd let Russia just complete its invasion. Anonymous government sources. On this, after his statements on, normally I'd give him a break. Be like, yo, dude, this guy, Pentagon Papers, all this, or whatever the fuck he did. right? Cy Hirsch, motherfucking Cy Hirsch, big ass Cy Hirsch, right? No, that wasn't Pentagon Papers, wasn't him, was it? No, or was it? Oh, I don't remember. Big name in journalism, should be respected, right? Normally, I'd give him a break, but after seeing his comments on Democracy Now!, that's a big red flag. That's a big red flag. If you're on the left and you're trying to make some moralistic argument that we need to stop supporting Ukraine because that will stop the war, sorry, you're making a really shitty, bad faith argument in support of the Russian invasion. Yeah, woke patriot. Yeah, but more credible, according to this guy. So, hey, let's wait and see, because honestly, obviously, the United States benefits from it, but you know, I guess the United States couldn't just, force Germany to just stop it, right? Like the idea was, well, the only way, sure, they could just turn off the tap, but honestly, the only way to truly prevent this from happening is to blow the pipeline up. And they do it the day it opens. That was really gross as well. So anyway, those are my views on the pipeline. I'd like to see more. I'd like to see more information. I find it highly doubtful that the United States didn't have some knowledge on it. You know what I mean? I find it doubtful. Okay, let's get over to Dumbask's question. You're asking a lot of questions here. So let me just address your first question here. Let's see here if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. Is there a danger that the UAF will be trapped like in 2015? Look, I'm not a fucking military expert, and I think even the military experts are like, geez, I don't fucking know, man. I think if there was ever a motivated army that could pull off an amazing feat, like holding Bakhmut and employing a counteroffensive that literally wipes out the entire PMC Wagner, I think it could be Ukraine. It's starting to feel a little bit like the Mighty fucking Ducks movie, right? Where it's like, I don't know, man, this is like fantasy shit. Even now, I don't know. I was watching combat footage today, and I was watching, well-trained Russians fighting in Bakhmut. They're there, Ukrainians are definitely dying. So there are people who know what they're doing on the Russian side over there. It's not just a bunch of prisoners and conscripts. It's a lot of prisoners and conscripts, though. It's a lot of people who don't have enough ammo to defend their positions. Like I said, if there was ever a military, if there was ever a time, if there was ever a military that could pull this shit off, it definitely would be the Ukrainian military. But man, I think I also question how badly a defeat in Bakhmut would, how that would be, because like the Russian supporters are waiting in the wings to be like, see, we won Bakhmut. Yeah, you better give up. Yep, we're just superior. You better give us, the Donbass region and Crimea and Kherson. You better just give us everything and just, if you want to end the war, because we're just that superior and it'll never end and we're just going to kick your ass eternally. Like they're waiting for the second Bakhmut drops to start that narrative of, oh, you should just give up. This is, it'll never end. Russia will always eventually defeat you. I doubt how effective that is. Look what happened in Mariupol. It was definitely a sad week that week when all those Ukrainians were taken prisoner. But the Ukrainian military soldiered on. And, eventually a lot of those guys were released, not all of them. And they came back emaciated and tortured. But a lot of them did come back. But, it wasn't the PR disaster that I think a lot of the hammer and sickle Twitter was just jumping all over is an example of, ultimately how Ukraine will fail in the war. So, that's kind of my opinion on that situation in terms of Bakhmut. Will they, won't they, should they, shouldn't they? It's one hell of a gamble. And if they pull this off, Putin's legitimacy will be legitimately challenged. How can't it be? Same thing with Crimea. There's a rumor mill. There's a lot of rumors going around that the big counteroffensive is going to be to take Crimea, and that makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. You wait for the right weather conditions, right? So you can cross the swampy morass that is that Dnipro River area. And you blow up that fucking bridge, right? And, you know, you just hold it down. You hold it down and just take that whole area. It's literally connected by a hair. Crimea. They have a fucking pussy hairs, you know, bridge. And of course the water, but, you know, it's hard to move shit across the water. Anyway. Ukraine is claiming that this is Bakhmut's last stand. If I would be saying that too if I was them. I can't scroll down. I can't show you this picture, but Ukraine claims Bakhmut battle is Wagner's last stand. Let me just hit the... if you want to see why I can't show you this picture in this New York Times article, props to the New York Times, by the way, for showing this. But if you want to see why I can't show you, there's the link right there. You can click on that and see the picture for yourself. But Daddy Bezos says, no, I'm not allowed to show bloated dead bodies on Twitch. Sorry, guys. Russia's Wagner mercenary group has been forced to use more of its professional recruits in Bakhmut to replace its depleted supply of enlisted prisoners who are perishing by the thousands in the longest battle of the war, a Ukrainian official said on Tuesday. The claim suggested that Ukraine sees an opportunity, despite the heavy casualties it has suffered in the eastern city, to exhaust Wagner's nearly suicidal prisoner assaults, which Ukraine's commanders regard as one of Russia's most effective tactics. It unfortunately is, man. I mean, it's fucking bizarre, but the Stalingrad strategy eventually works. The claim that suggested that Ukraine sees an opportunity despite the heavy casualties. I'm sorry. Quote, this is their last stand. Colonel Serhei Chirvati, a spokesman for Ukraine's Eastern Group of Forces, told Radio Liberty in an interview referring to Wagner's forces in Bakhmut, where Russia and Ukraine's vicious, months-long struggle has left thousands of soldiers dead and the city in rubble. Absolutely decimated the city. There's probably only a handful of structures still standing. Bakhmut's the biggest battle of this century. It's a pretty fucking big deal. I mean, Mariupol was huge, man. That battle at the steelworks, did you see the footage from the steelworks fucking battle in Mariupol? That was intense. That was some of the most intense first-person battle camera fucking shit I've ever seen in my life, dude. But, I mean, Bakhmut, it's just as brutal. It's just as bad. Ukrainian officials, yeah, all heroes, no doubt about it. And, of course, we need to mention, thank you for mentioning heroes, because as soon as I heard heroes, I thought of course, the man who was executed by Russia on camera. We've all seen the photos. You know, saying Slava Ukraine before getting shot directly in the head by the Russians just off camera. A hero. And I assume that there's a statue maker who's already working on his statue. Well deserved. I can't really put into words how courageous and brave that guy was. There's no I can't put it into words. I would need to be some kind of poet to give it the right kind of eloquence. Ukrainian officials have claimed that nearly 30,000 of Wagner's 50,000 troops have deserted or been killed or wounded, many around Bakhmut. That number could not be independently verified, and Ukraine has not disclosed its own losses in the region. I'm not believing the 7-1 number. I'm not believing it. I'll give you 5-1. I'll give you 4-1. 7-1? Dog, come on with that. No, come on, man. 7-1? If you don't know what I'm talking about, Ukraine claims that they're killing 7 Russian troops for every Ukrainian that's dying in the battle. And folks, I'm just not going to buy it. Snowmo Bro Pro. I will be streaming later tonight. I gotta shift with the kid though. I gotta, watch him and all that. But I will be doing late night, 1 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock in the morning streams while I'm on maternity leave. So look forward to that, Snowmo Pro Bro. Thank you for coming back. Russia's defense minister Sergei Shoigu claimed on Tuesday that Ukraine had lost more than 11,000 troops in February, and they are losing troops. PST, unfortunately, Lenny. Sorry, PST. As the fight for Bakhmut appears to be entering a decisive phase, both sides are trying to justify their staggering losses in a minor city of limited strategic value by presenting them as benefiting their cause. Each makes essentially the same claim The fighting there is worth the horrific cost because it is wearing down the enemy. Now, come on, man. I mean, is it of strategic importance or not? Okay, because now, you know, and now all the experts are saying, well, maybe it is of strategic importance. Regardless of whether it is or it isn't, Putin has made this of strategic importance. And honestly, you know, you got to do the Shang Tsung thing, art of war, and you don't want to correct your enemy when he's making a mistake. And Putin throwing in, you know, just go, going nuts, you know, Wagner Group going nuts, going hard as shit in a place that, you know, it ain't Kyiv. It's a fucking rubble heap now, you know. Yeah, maybe it does make sense to make a stand there. Maybe it does make sense to, if the battle's got to, the fight has to happen somewhere. It's got to happen somewhere. Why not right here? So is it important or not? I'm going to have to say it's pretty important by this time. Because, you know, I was believing the hype too. Oh, it's not that big a deal. I don't even know what they're fucking thinking. Well, they've made it a big deal. As the fight for Bakhmut appears to be entering a decisive phase, both sides are trying to justify their staggering losses in a minor... They're presented by benefiting their cause. Each makes essentially the same claim that the fighting there is worth the horrific cost because it is wearing down the enemy. Interesting. Wagner's founder, Prigozhin, has recently said that his group's triple-digit daily casualty rates are sucking experienced Ukrainian units into what he calls the Bakhmut meat grinder. This guy, he's sitting there with a face completely pummeled, and he's like smiling through, like he's got like 2 teeth left, and he's smiling, and he's like, we got you right where we want you. Upsetting their offensive plans everywhere. President Vladimir Zelensky said on Monday that rather than withdraw from the city, as had been rumored, Ukraine would send reinforcements into Bakhmut. So I guess what we've been seeing, the withdrawals that we have been seeing, are strategic withdrawals and also refreshing of those troops as reinforcements come in. Where Ukrainian commanders say the fighting has tied down enormous Russian forces, the true strategic legacy of the battle will most likely be ultimately written by its victors. I mean, Russia already lost this fight. What are you going to do? Plant the fucking Russian flag? What? Into what? The rubble? Woo woo! We got him! Ah, yay! We did it! Wagner's mercenaries have significantly helped Russia edge towards encircling Bakhmut, largely by throwing waves of former inmates towards Ukrainian positions. That's not entirely true. I've seen the footage. There's some real motherfucking cold killers, man. I saw some Russian clearing out a Ukrainian trench. Motherfucker didn't flinch. He didn't breathe. He was like a robot, dude. He killed with the ease I pick my balls. There's some real motherfucking Russian killers out there. This is really sprinkled with a lot of New York Times style elitism. I'm not taking away anything from the Ukrainian military and the Ukrainian fighters and the Ukrainian heroes out there kicking ass. I'm just saying, let's not get into the habit of pretending that Russia doesn't know how to kill people. Towards Ukrainian positions, wearing Kyiv's forces down at heavy cost. Quote, almost all of them have been killed in Bakhmut, Colonel Teretsvy Colonel Chevy said of the prisoner units. Some analysts say that if Ukraine can eliminate Russia's prisoner soldiers in Bakhmut, they will not have to face their attack wave elsewhere. That's kind of a good point. The number of, quote, Russian convict recruits suitable for combat is not limitless. Apparently, there's already pushback happening in the prison community because a lot of these guys ain't coming back. The Institute for the Study of War, a research group in Washington, said in a communique this week, the group echoed Ukraine's assessment that Wagner units were shifting towards higher quality special forces because of the high losses suffered by prison recruits. Well, there you go. All right, I'm not going to read this whole article. You're welcome to read it yourself. But yeah, that is the new narrative that, oh, I guess Bakhmut is important now, and I guess, you know, Ukraine's going to hold it. Prigozhin made a video directly addressing this article. Here's the New York Times reader. Really? Okay, well, we got to show this. Even though Prigozhin, I mean, I'm sure what he's going to say is just, you know, going to be 100% the truth. Yikes, this is 5 fucking minutes? All right, well, we'll listen to a couple minutes of it to see what Prigozhin had to say. I don't know why, but I guess out of curiosity. The raw recruits, the fodder of the Ukrainian serious forces have to try and stabilize the position. Yeah. That's quite a job. It's quite a job what they're doing, but I think it does make sense. The fight has to happen somewhere. Why not have it, you know, they've reinforced, they've turned Bakhmut into a fortress, apparently. There's trench lines all throughout. The topographical advantage is in Ukraine's side. The weather is very quickly getting into Ukraine's favor. Yeah. Fucking do it, man. Imagine a decisive victory to completely eliminating the Wagner Group. Woo!
Приехал на совещание командиров в университет Донецк.
Fucking artillery goes off.
Пошел прогуляться по городу.
Oh, I bet you went for a walk around the city, you fucking liar. Yeah, right. I wish you would, motherfucker.
Бронежилет с чехольчиком на яйца. Все-таки 8 марта.
Casing for the balls. But this tough guy.
Зашел. Достопримечательности, место намоленное. Танк, который освобождал Украину от фашистов.
He sounds tired. You know, he sounds winded and tired. You know what I mean?
Зашел на него посмотреть.
Hey, Bisky. Happy Women's Day.
Нью-Йорк Таймс вопрос задает, что появилась информация.
He's out of wind. He's out of. Did you see that cut? Look at the cut right here. He can barely talk, dude. This guy, this fucking pampered puss. He doesn't fight. He can't even keep his breath wearing full armor, walking a couple feet.
Появилась информация от генерала Череватова.
Look at the cut.
Что, по его мнению, Бахмут — это последний рубеж ЧВК «Вагнер».
Okay, no. There wasn't a cut. I was mistaken. There wasn't a cut. See the thing on Twitter with Elon? Yes, I did see that. Yeah. Assholes, oligarchs going to asshole oligarch, you know? I have a recommendation for you, Bisky. If you would, you know, I know the drama is fun with Elon Musk, but if you really want to see something change, there's a 3-step program you could try to actually create real political change. Step 1, inform yourself, which seems like you're doing. You're checking out the politics section on Twitch, so congratulations, you're already doing it. Step 2, join a progressive political organization in your area. There's thousands, right? Whichever pet thing you want, unions, single-payer health care, the communists, whatever it is. Step 3, Bisky, I'm going to need you to put in the work. I don't want your confessions. I need you to put in the work, okay? Get out there, become a real political activist to create real political change, okay? Stop following celebrity news.
New York Times Magazine from Bakhmut.
Bye.
Exclusively from Evgeny Prigozhin и Александр Симонов. Значит,
he's out of breath.
Что касается ЧВК «Вагнер» последнего рубежа, это внутренние разборки.
Oh, there was Chem Goblin. I just didn't remind. Okay, thank you.
Поэтому тихо.
Yeah. It sounds like
Не шуметь.
This sounds like you know, Hitler making a speech in Berlin. You know what I mean? I'm sorry for the Nazi comparisons, but holy shit. I gave him a 10-second ban because he was incredibly annoying. This isn't a democracy in my chat. I rule it like an authoritarian Bolshevik.
Сейчас пролетит, а то в ушах слышит. Вот. Вариантов может быть несколько. Вариант первый. И вправду это последний шаг.
Those might be fatal words.
ЧВК «Вагнер». Многие вещи вечно не живут. 300 спартанцев, 3 богатыря и так далее остаются в памяти народа. Так и с ЧВК «Вагнер» может случиться.
Oh, so he is saying that.
Другое дело, что этот рубеж мы достойно возьмем. Что будет после взятия Бахмута? Вам министр обороны сказал о том, что после взятия Бахмута у нас откроется оперативный простор. И в настоящий момент мир не сталкивался еще с российской...
Whose fucking fault is that? How is that NATO's fault, Prigozhin? How is that NATO's fault, bro? We would have won, too, if we just had the right equipment that our government didn't provide us because of ridiculous political infighting when we should have been unified as a combat force. Shucks. But we're still the superior country, guys. Can't even get our logistics together to support our PMCs, but we're still the logistics. We're still the winners.
Армии хорошо подготовленной, с теми подразделениями, которые еще не вступали в бой, имея все возможное современное вооружение, средства разведки.
Hey, Prigozhin, have you tried feeding your troops?
Идеально подготовленные, они ждут своего часа. Как раз того самого после открытия.
But why the talk of total eradication and the comparisons to the 300 Spartans who were totally eradicated at, you know, in a heroic battle? Why those comparisons as well? He's basically, you know, that's what he's threatening, right? Is that, you know, if we don't get help right away. Yeah, Epic. I mean, like, I think it's fair to say any organized military is going to have, you know, people of that level. I'm not excusing the Azov, the portion of the Azov battalion that is white supremacist or the white supremacists in the U.S. military or Russian military. I'm just saying it's a very Nazi-friendly, right-wing, fascist-friendly kind of situation, right? They like the military. So I think it's fair to say every organized military has Nazis and fascists. I don't think it's fair to say, like some, Kyle Kulinski, who called the Azov battalion a Nazi battalion. I think that is wildly mischaracterizing the Azov battalion. At the same time, though, you know, once this war is over, I would like to see President Zelensky do a tattoo check and purge his military of anybody with white supremacist or Nazi-related tattoos. At the very least, man. At the very least, get the fucking proud, tattooed Nazis out of your military. They literally put a fucking label on themselves. Right? At the very... Like, you can't read a motherfucker's mind. Right? But at the very least, get the ones with Nazi tattoos out of your fucking military. And that goes for the U.S. military as well. And hey, while we're at it, how about the United States police force in every motherfucking state get rid of all the motherfuckers with Nazi tattoos? I remember that poor son of a bitch in the hallway crying and begging for his life before he was shot dead. I believe that cop had a tattoo, something like fuck your life or fuck you or something like that on his wrist. Cops should not be allowed to, I'm sorry, if you're protecting and serving, you're not allowed to express your love of fucking violence. Protecting and serving. And you're sure as fuck shouldn't be allowed to strut around with Nazi symbols on your fucking body. Epic Games, let me find the link. Let me play the video. I'll find you the link.
Открытие оперативного простора ЧВК «Вагнер» после Бахмута. Но это отдельная история. Тогда весь мир содрогнется. Есть второй вариант развития событий.
Yeah, his name was Daniel Shaver. What I had to type into Google to find this, what I typed into Google, man begging for life in hotel hallway, murdered by police. The first thing that came up was this Wikipedia article. His name was Daniel Shaver, and he was murdered by United States police brutally.
Вы за демократию, а мы за справедливость. В России 140 миллионов человек...
Way to shit on half of Russia, bro.
Поэтому если 70 миллионов человек, которые хотят...
This is not World War II, dude. You don't have 70 million people ready to fucking give their lives for this shit.
Справедливость вдруг неожиданно...
I don't know. Read the Wikipedia article. There was probably some bullshit, you know, thing. I don't know. I don't know. Did that fix the problem? Are you trying to imply that his arrest would have, you know, I agree that his arrest should happen, and I hope it did. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Either way, the problem, the jury acquitted him. Fucking love it. Cold-blooded murder. Cold-blooded murder. Watch the video, Epic Gains. Do me a favor. Please, Mr. 15-year-old, Mr. Right-winger, Mr. What's Wrong with the Police? I beg you to watch the video of Daniel Shaver getting shot by the cops and come back to me. Let me know what you think. Type in Daniel Shaver video. It'll come right up. Live link. Pachow. Go ahead and ruin your fucking life and take a look at how police handle business.
Придут и скажут, что мы хотим
Fuck the
ЧВК
police.
«Вагнер», то вы получите 70-миллионную ЧВК «Вагнер». И это тоже радует. Поэтому варианты могут быть различны. Теперь, коли уж до меня достучалось, вернее, коли на меня внимание обратило такое СМИ, как «Нью-Йорк Таймс», не могу не обратиться к чреватому, к Залужному и, как обычно, к Владимиру Александровичу Зелинскому. Это наше традиционное обращение из Бахмута, поэтому, Владимир Александрович, приветствую вас. Я благодарен, что вы приняли решение о том, что все-таки будете работать в Бахмуте. Нам это приятно. И мы уже привыкли друг к другу, и поэтому, как говорится, приросли. Единственная просьба. Стариков, детей забирайте. И сюда нормальные боеспособные подразделения. Только, пожалуйста, по-честному. Мы с вами честно откровенны, вы с нами честно откровенны.
Oh my God, okay.
67 580 человек с Запорожья.
What are you talking about?
С копейками с Красного Лимана. Я прошу, чтобы они все были здесь, и мы здесь будем с ними дальше работать. А там вы еще потом успеете развивать успех, там наступление, все остальное. Нам надо сейчас здесь с вами разобраться. Вот, собственно говоря, спасибо огромное.
Fight your war. What the fuck is...
С вами были Евгений...
Okay, so I wanted to show this video because, yeah, now mainstream media is now, you know, going against their own narrative that Bakhmut is actually important now. I'm curious if this person here, Professor Michael Clark, who's a pretty respectful guy, you know, pro-Western military, you know, dominance and all that, as respectable as you can get on mainstream media talking about the war. And I'm curious if he will point out that, okay, yeah, I guess now it's important. And let me address why we've been saying it isn't important. But there's only 3 minutes in this video, so I don't know what we'll get with this.
Security analyst Professor Michael Clark. Michael, good to see you. The fighting has been going on around Bakhmut for some time now. Jens Stoltenberg referring to it as the fact that, you know, it could be a pivotal point in this war if it falls. Why is that?
Yes, I mean, things are getting critical now. The Russians or the Wagner group are into the centre of Bakhmut. They're as far as the river, but the Bakhmutka River runs right through the middle of the city. If they try to cross the river and the Ukrainians try to defend it, then the Russians will have a problem. Crossing a river in the middle of a city is never easy. The Ukrainians may or may not try to defend it. More importantly, the Russians are moving in to try to block the access roads. And the one that matters is this, the 504, or the 0504, it's the local number for it, to Kostianivka. And that road is the only route out which the Ukrainians can take. And that road is already under artillery fire, so it's already a gauntlet they have to run to get in and out.
And well, and the weather is the thing that's forcing them to have to use those roads. So as the weather clears up, and it has cleared up, they might have been able to secure other routes, not directly on the road. Either way, man, this makes me so goddamn nervous. You win or lose a war by logistics. It's all about logistics, and these roads become your lifeline in the fight. And that's why an encirclement is so devastating. It can just completely cut off a chunk of your forces and also the equipment that's all in there. It's you know, even it's going to be tough even for Ukraine. Even the guys in Mariupol, you know, I'm sure a lot of them were willing to, but it's hard to ask somebody to fight to the death, you know?
If the Russians can actually break that link, then the Ukrainians will have to withdraw. They can't allow themselves to be surrounded. But the problem for the Russians then, and what Mr. Stoltenberg said, this should not be allowed to be a turning point, and it won't be. Politically, they've got to manage the loss of Bakhmut if they lose it. But militarily, it doesn't do the Russians any good at all. Because if they're going to go westwards towards Slavyansk and Kramatorsk, the only two places that really matter in the Donbass, those are the places. You get Slavyansk, Kramatorsk, you get the Donbass. If you fail to get those, then you'll never take the Donbass. There aren't many roads in the area. There are only two roads, the O4 and the MO4, as it was called. I think it's now called the E40 in the local numbers. So there's only two roads. The fields either side of the road are wet and muddy. So armour can only go up the roads, and if they do that, the Ukrainians will pick them off. And then look at the ground in between. First of all, I mean, that ground is rising all the time. It's lots of natural defensive positions. And the Ukrainians will certainly defend that ground. So if the Russians wanted to move westwards from Bakhmut, they will have to fight every inch of the way towards the fortresses that the Ukrainians will make of Slavyansk and Kramatorsk. So if Bakhmut falls militarily, it won't do the Russians a whole lot of good. If they're going to take Slavyansk and Kramatorsk, they'll have to take them from the north and from the south, not from the east.
And from what we've seen, the Russians haven't got the capability to do that, not just because of the conditions you were describing and the geography.
Right. Not only have they not got the capability, but every time they've taken a place like Severodonetsk in July, they stop. They can't keep going. And so there will be, even if they take Bakhmut, I can almost guarantee there'll be an operational pause, as they call it, while they take breath and sort them.
One of the reasons why they saw success in the north of Bakhmut was because they were taking over some of these smaller towns on the way, and uncharacteristically, the Wagner Group decided to keep moving, to keep applying the pressure and forcing Ukraine back, which is apparently a behavior that the normal Russian military does less of. They're a little bit more predictable.
Themselves out for 2 or 3 or maybe 4 weeks. They're never able to take a position and keep going, keep the enemy off balance. They just can't do it.
But symbolically, it would be important.
Yeah.
It's another place to fall to Russia.
Politically, if they lose it, Kiev has really got to manage the loss of this place. Militarily, they shouldn't worry too much.
OK. All right. Michael, thank you. Professor Michael.
And, of course, he doesn't address the fact that, OK, all of a sudden, Bakhmut is now really important strategically. OK, folks. Hey, Depot Kid. Welcome back. I think you've been here before, maybe. So I'm running out of time here, folks. I got the kid yelling at me here. I only have time for a couple more videos, so we're gonna do some of the combat videos, and I will get back to some of these other deeper dives into some of these some of these longer videos that I have here. Not too many more, actually. Really, just this one. This is about the anti-corruption stuff. So that's okay. We can, the anti-corruption stuff. That's an ongoing thing. That's not immediate. Let's just go ahead and skip that for now. We'll come back to that video. We're not going to close it. And let's take a look at everyone's favorite combat footage before I go, just for, another 10, 15 more minutes here. And we'll look at some combat footage, and then we'll call it a day on my return stream back from the fucking black wooded forest. And let me tell you, as much as I shit on Twitch and everything, it does suck to be banned off of the most popular streaming platform. It does suck. I'm not going to sit here and, I'm so cool, I don't care. I cared a little. All right, but let's go ahead and dig into some of this combat footage before we go, because we got to see how this battle is shaping up. So, advancing Russian tank column met with Ukrainian army's artillery. Oh shit! Things are bad when you're just fucking ramming you're just ramming this fucker out of the way. Well, I technically do, Davey, but they have strict rules, and they have strict rules on avoiding that. A duplicate account would actually get banned really quickly. And then I would never get a chance to get my other account back. You start doing that shit and they say, nope, you're gone for good. So, I got to play by Daddy Bezos's rules, man. What is this, dumbass?
Артем.
Oh shit. Wow, that's super loud for you. I'm so fucking sorry. A trip to the center of Bakhmut. All right, well, we'll add that. I'll take a look at it, make sure there's no dead bodies. We can't show dead bodies on screen. So I'll take a look at it, make sure there's no dead bodies, and we'll show it the next time I stream. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, man, he doesn't have much time in that motherfucking tank. What happened? Ooh. Ooh. Boy, he got slapped right on the ass. That's where he's most vulnerable, too. You know, I think the Western alliances feel a little bad for Russia, and they want to make it a fair fight. If NATO were to join, it just wouldn't be very fair, would it? You know, if NATO were to join this conflict in earnest, it would probably be over in a couple months. Up, run, get out. Yep, get out. Come on, you gotta get out. All right, let's keep going here. Huge explosion erupts as Ukrainian artillery blow up a Russian hideout. We're seeing some big booms. We're seeing some big motherfucking bunker busters. Ukraine is starting to pull out for this Bakhmut battle. And these are devastating, folks. I have some footage that shows you just how deep these fucking things go. Running into the basement of one of these bombed out buildings, you're fucked. You're completely fucked. You're fucked. I mean, you're just fucked, man. If you're a human being in and around that building, you're done. You're done. Like, even if you're not hit directly, the blast wave sucks the oxygen out of your lungs and you just drop dead right there. Nasty shit. Nasty, nasty shit. Paid for by your US dollars. Maybe. I don't know. They probably got other bunker busters. I hate to show this to you. Look, I'm going to break my rules just once, and I'm going to show you just how brutal this conflict can get, all right? Prepare yourself. This is fucking brutal. He said he's surrounded. Hey, man, you want to buy a computer from the 90s? Whole position, his whole trench position, fucking, you know, is that good or bad camouflage? You know, it might be good camouflage because it's like, you know, just kind of adds to the nonchalance of it. But really funny, the cows just completely surrounded him. I hope those cows survived. You know, one good artillery blast and those cows are hamburgers. You can thank Woke Patriot for that video. Thank you so much, Woke Patriot, for your contributions in the Discord. Very funny video. Thank you so much. I think that was you, right, Woke Patriot? All right, so this is the one of these bunker busters I'm telling you about. JDAM-ER, whatever the fuck that means. It's a big fucking boom. Russians will fuck the whole... Is that what you want? So you're a supporter of Russia and you're okay with Russia fucking the whole world? You sound like Mr. Garrison when he was Trump on South Park. I'm gonna fuck Canada. I don't know. You know, you sound unhinged. You sound brutal. You sound bloodthirsty. I mean, honestly, if you know, you demand respect from the rest of us. Oh, that was you, Cam Goblin. Thank you, Cam Goblin, for that video. And big props to you. Big props to Woke Patriot, though. I love all your links in there. And we actually opened up the stream with one of Woke Patriot's links. With 88 in there. Oh, yeah. Of course, 88. That's another one, right? Hey, from Canada. I'm currently living in Canada myself. But anyway, this JDAM-ER, which is so obvious that that's what it is. I could tell right away from its silhouette and the explosion radius that this was definitely a JDM-ER. Definitely not the A7 variant. This is the ER variant, as you can see. You know, with the stuff, it's very obvious. I'm in Vancouver. So this is the first time Ukraine dropped a U.S. JDAM bomb by plane on a Russian position. So I'll stop talking here because I mean, watch what happens. They're like 100 miles away. They're like 50 miles away. I don't know. They're really fucking far away. But count how many seconds you see the massive explosion before they even hear the explosion. Right there. Then it hits them. Let me tell you, folks, this is some nasty ass shit. This is some nasty ass shit. Developed by your boys at Lockheed Martin, most likely. It's one of those motherfucking billion-dollar military contractors. But that is some truly nasty shit. Look at that. Boom. That's a whole city block, dude. Whatever was in that vicinity is done. Yeah, Raytheon, one of those. So, hey, how would you feel if you were a POW? You finally get to go home. You're done being a prisoner. Gonna get back into the fight. How stoked would you be, right? You know, I remember seeing footage of the Ukrainian soldiers coming back, singing the national anthem. They looked 90 pounds, wet and wearing boots. They looked like they were in a lot of pain, but they were very excited to come back home. Well, here's the other side of the coin. We have some Russian POWs coming back from being a POW, looking pretty well fed and healthy, I gotta say, looking real chubby cheeked and ready to go. Well, they're on their way back to Papa Putin. And I don't know, you tell me by the look on their faces how they're feeling. I know they're stoic, they're Russian, right? So they're very stoic. But you tell me how excited they are heading back to the front lines. Because let me tell you, that's the final stop of the bus, is the front line of the conflict. And they're not going back to Moscow. They probably never went to Moscow. A lot of these people are rural Russians, they're from like some of the outskirts, right? Welcome back, Oh My God Sticks. Yeah, in the old days, they would have just been shot as soon as they, were released. Yeah, no doubt about it. Oh, boy. Boy, perk up. Are they on their way to a funeral? Oh, I guess they are. Yeah. Boy, they look really healthy. Ooh. They're about to cry, man. So, there's a translation, I think, in the thing here. I'll pull it up. It's not much. All right, heading back to the front lines, boys. Oh my God, dude, who the fuck is this Ernest Borgnine back here? Is he a 60-year-old man? Holy shit! No offense to the elderly in my audience, much respect, but I think you would agree. Probably, yeah. Vid it's very quiet. Yeah, no, you can't well, you can actually understand what he's saying, Chem Goblin. I'll give him the translation. He's basically saying, hey, you're not going to come back now, promise. Let me see if I can find the translation. It's in here somewhere. Missed the grinder. Comments, third option. We're going to send it back, people. Translation, please. Okay, here we go. Yeah, here we go. Yep. Someone link this. Reddit can be very useful. But yeah, so here's a translation of what he said. I represent the Secretary of Verkhovna Rada Commissioner for Human Rights. What questions, problems, suggestions, complaints do you have while you stayed illegally in Ukraine? Question mark. Do you have any? Hi, I'll be your POW representative today. Do you have any complaints while you stayed illegally in my country? No, in Russia. Are they absent? No complaints? Were you treated normally? What about food? Yeah. I hope we won't see each other again. No. Promise, guys? Yes. You have the same you have the same institution, Commissioner for Human Rights, in Russia. It is run by Tatiana Moloskovia, if you have heard of her. If they want to send you here again, you have the right to contact her. She is ready to help you. I hope so. Yeah. Yeah. You don't have a fucking option. Oh my God. Bro, I would have been the happiest. If I was from Russia, I would have been the happiest prisoner. I'd be like, how many toilets do you want me to scrub? Please don't send me back. I don't care what you need, man. I'll brush your teeth. Please don't send me back. I love Ukraine. I'd be the happiest little prisoner. Destruction of a Russian Tu-S1 Govdivka, I don't know, Gorilla Dick, self-propelled howitzer disguised as a garbage dump by the 59th Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. So, I mean, one thing, Russia, it's crazy. Russia leaves garbage at wherever they go. Every time you see a Ukrainian like storming a Russian position where they've been there for a couple weeks, it looks like a garbage dump. They're like heroin addicts on the sidewalk. They just throw their garbage everywhere. It's fucking crazy. So the one thing that they do have a lot of is garbage, and here they are using it as camouflage. It kind of works. It kind of I don't know. It looks like a piece of shit. It looks like, you know, if it wasn't for that big ass gun sticking out of there, it kind of would look like a piece of shit. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, sticks. Yeah, big disguise, right? Oh, I hope no one was in there. Back from whence you came. Yeah, that's a nasty one. All that garbage is burning now. I can't even fucking see it. It's probably some Ukrainian fucking folk song about how kicking Russians' asses feels good. Oh fuck, that was a good hit. This thing's on fire. Nice. Oh, there you go, another one. Ukrainian soldier firing RPGs in or around Bakhmut. So this was from a month ago, but it might as well be like happening right now. But as you can see, there's still snow on the ground. But just to be clear, this was one of the videos I had queued up before I was banned for daring to criticize religion. Oh, heaven forbid. Let's see, no, that's quality. But man, I mean, I don't know. Video games make this into such a bigger deal. You know, firing one of these things. I don't know. What do you guys? Do you think he should? Okay, if this was a video game, I have like a 1 to 2 shot rule in terms of where I'm showing my location, but it's different, right? It's they don't know he's there. He's not being fired at. I don't know, but do you think he should take up a different position and fire these missiles from a different position? That's just too much. He just needs to get through this salvo and then get the fuck out of there, right? That would make more sense. So that one, he got even closer. He's got, okay, he's got 2 more. He's fucking feeling it. He's totally stoked. Get it, get it, get it, get it. Two mines? I'm not sure what you're talking about specifically. What's he doing? What's the stick? What's this about? The fuck is he doing? Oh, is it some he's doing something to the rocket launcher? Circle sitting on top of the case between them. Are those mines? Yeah, I think he's putting that into the rocket launcher. No, this looks like it's some kind of it's someone's backyard, man. It's probably someone's farm equipment or something. You know, it's some poor dude's backyard. But it looks like it's some kind of cart or something, not mines. All right, moving on. We just have a couple more videos. A Russian tank moving towards Ukrainian position is hit and destroyed by an ATGM filmed by a Russian drone. Why is Russia releasing this stuff? I mean, what are they trying to see? You know, what are they trying to say by releasing this? We're really good at getting our ass kicked. Oof, that was one and done. Is anyone even still alive in there? Yes. Okay. They're running. Okay. Well, those are some lucky sons of bitches right there. Took a direct hit from an ATGM, and they didn't fucking question that. They got right out the hell out of there. This is how Ukrainian fighters get Russian rats out of a basement. This is amazing, folks. I have not one, but 2 videos showing different perspectives. And the second perspective I'm going to show you is the one you want to see, okay? It's the one of the guy, he's going in there, okay? The text basically says still good. Oh, okay. This is amazing. So I'm going to show you this first one, and then I'll show you the second video from a different perspective. This is nuts. No, you don't. You don't want to fight in a basement. Clearing a building is probably one of the scariest things you can do as a soldier. I recently watched a documentary on Fallujah. You know, U.S. soldiers having to go into these incredibly tight, cramped situations and fight insurgents, or, you know, freedom fighters, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, that the footage from that, I was shitting my pants the whole time. I was like the edge of my seat watching, like, you know, because it was literally. And this, the footage I'm going to show you here and the next one shows you just how close you can be to your enemy. He's not dead. He's not dead. So he's not dead. He's perfectly fine, by the way. The reason why he does that and falls back is because the fucking Russians are right fucking here. And the footage that I have is this guy's perspective. But he's fine. He's not dead.
Выходи, жить будешь, сука! Выходи! Выходи, блядь! Кидай гранату! Если не хочешь выходить. Орес, фанга, Орес, гранат! Гранат! Орес, давай, працюй!
Brought to you by Hans Zimmer.
Джусик, сектор. Сектор крыть.
I mean, and look, you know, I'm sorry to the Ukrainians, but I have to be, you know, got to keep it real here, and I got to give it props to the Russians. Sure, you're fighting for nothing. You're completely fucking stupid, but that doesn't make you any less brave. If I was in this situation, I'd be like, oh, please don't kill me. I'm unarmed. Please don't kill me. You know what I mean? And these guys, they're holding their position until the very, very last. And that, as stupid as it all is, it does require a certain amount of courage and bravery to do that from a military perspective. So I think I would like to give these guys just a little bit of credit for doing their job. You know, this is what they were ordered to do, and that's what a soldier is supposed to do, is what he's ordered to do. But certainly would be a smarter thing to surrender, boys. Oh, I don't know what you're trying to accomplish at this point, though. You're not getting out of this. You're not fucking getting out of this, dude. Okay, I think somewhere in this there's a dead body, maybe. Let me just make sure. No, there isn't. Okay. Yeah, because these guys don't survive. They're very dead. Yeah. Yeah, so they're sitting there, and there's those shots. He's just making sure he's finishing the job there.
Не понял. Що пік? Виліз? Дивись, синкуй.
I don't know about Mr. Tough Guy's idea of standing directly in the kill zone here. Even if you have cleared 2, you know, there could be someone else in there, man. I don't know, man. Doesn't seem like a very bright idea to just be standing there, Mr. Balzac, but I'm not a soldier on the ground, so. Yeah. Yeah, that sunflowers thing was so, like, accurate. One more video, almost done. So here's the perspective. 1987. What? Is this from 1987? Huh? Anyway, this is what he saw when he went in there. So this is him entering the structure. And 2 Russian armbands right there. Right there. And he falls the fuck over going backwards. Slap him in the back of the head, right? Take this kid, I'm going to bed. Project Pat don't give a fuck. Okay, yeah, then eventually, yeah, this is some other footage. 1987, for real? All right, I don't know what this is. Did someone apply this filter? Is this just some fucking Zoomer filter? They're doing some kind of fucking Ukraine wave? Is that what they're doing? I don't know. I don't know. Let's listen to Pootie one more. All right, there you go, folks. That's all I could squeeze in for now. I gotta go watch Kid. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. That's my Ukraine update.